Good day, Africa. You're welcome once again to AgroLink on AAU TV. And AgroLink is your premium program that aims at promoting food security and curbing graduate unemployment in Ghana through agriculture. My name is Nana Ismambasam, and today we are here with the chairperson of Michelle Camp Grasscutter Farmers Association, who is going to help us know the role of this association in promoting the interest of grasscutter farmers in Ghana. Do stay with us. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall start this discussion. You're welcome back from the break. If you just tuned in, this is AgroLink on AATV, and for this episode, we are focusing on the role of the Michelle Camp Grasscutter Farmers Association in promoting the interest of grasscutter farmers in this area. To help us do justice to this is the chairperson of this association, the person of Mr. Justice Tamaklo. Mr. Justice Tamaklo, you're welcome to AgroLink.
Thank you.
So I just gave a brief description about you. Can you give a detailed version?
Of myself?
Yes, of yourself.
Okay. I've been in the Ghana Army. I retired quite 2002. I worked briefly with some companies and developed interest in grasscutter farming. Seeing people coming to cut corn stalks in my farm, I became curious and asking them why, and that ended up in my response to their invitation to their farms. So I got an interest from there. And basically, I started with about 3 animals. Yeah, two females and 1 male.
Yes.
Just quite about a month or 2, I started looking for market. So I went to Shangri-La Hotel and met the chief chef there. And he asked me, after waiting for about 2-3 hours, then he gave me a reception. And he asked me, how many animals do I have? And I told him I'm having 3. The man laughed his heart out and told me that he liked my high interest. But normally they don't deal with individuals, but they deal with associations. So if I belong to an association, they can also make a follow-up or instantaneous replenishment of their stock. So he's sorry he cannot entertain me on business lines, but when I'm able to join associations, fine. So when I came back, I consulted AgroLink extension officers and requested them to summon all farmers within the Michelle Camp environs, which he did, and we met. So I made a presentation and described the need for the association. After several discussions, they agreed, and we started with about 11 people. These 11 people grew up to a number of 42 later on, and we were cruising well. You know, we wanted to take advantage of price and quantity discounts because our inputs that we normally buy, to start a grasscutter farm, you need a cage, you need a place, and all these things have exorbitant prices. So we want to forestall or to at least buy at a reasonable price. So we realized that the advantages in becoming an associated members will be very great for us. So we started doing things in common. Whatever we want to do, we contribute and then we do it. So briefly, that is how the association came about.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Tamaklo, how long has this association been in existence?
Yeah, the association started around 2005.
Around 2005.
Yeah.
Oh, that means you've been in this industry for a very long time. Yes.
So how? But we registered around 2010 with the Registrar General.
Okay. So how do you see the grasscutter industry in Ghana? You've been in it for over 10 years. How do you see it? What are the prospects?
Yeah. talking about prospects comparatively, it's very lucrative. It's very lucrative in the sense that comparative to even cattle. Yes. In the first place, you don't need space much.
Okay.
You don't need space much. And their number of liters in a year. For example, they litter twice in a year. So assuming they littered about 8, the first instant, then the second instant, and you are having about maybe 5. So you can be able to double these 4 females to arrive at 200 animals, and then provision for mortalities of about 20. So 180 animals to the current price of maybe 150 cedis.
For one grasscutter?
Yes, the breeding stock. I'm mentioning average price. Though some places you can get it a bit lesser, some places above. But I'm pegging it at that 150 on average, thinking. That assuming you start on principles, established principles, you will be able to get about 200 animals within 2 years. Within these 2 years, you need to provision for about 20 mortalities. So you have about 180. And I'm saying that if you multiply 180 by 150, almost 17,000 thereabout.
Oh.
You understand? And so if you compare it, you realize that the stress in cattle rearing, or even poultry.
In the duration.
Yes. Poultry, I can tell me it's suicidal. The rate at which poultry is being infested and the rate of mortality compared to grasscutter. As for grasscutter, you just go according to the best practice and the hazard controlling. Then you are good to go.
Okay.
So briefly, if I should answer your question.
But grasscutters are usually prolific breeders.
Yes.
And can produce about 12 liters.
Yes, they can produce about 12 liters.
But is it dependent on the feed, the housing, or the conditions? Or can they even produce more litters than 12, depending on the situation that they are surrounded with?
Well, precisely if the feed that you give them is balanced well with the necessary nutrients, the environment is conducive, the temperature is okay for them. Like I said earlier on.
Okay, please, let me see. What is an okay temperature for grasscutters?
I cannot reckon exactly, but excessive heat or cold is what they avoid. And so if you see them playing under a particular weather condition, you see them feeling free. If they are feeling cold, you can see that their hairs will stand. If they are feeling normal, you see that the hairs are very shiny. Those are some of the things that we use. Some people put the thermometer there. I cannot remember offhand the particular temperature within which they should dwell, but we study their attitude, because if they should become sick right now, I will know. The hairs will be on edge, they will stand, and I will know that they are feeling cold. So I have to cover, for example, in an outdoor system like this. The other one, you see, there is some roofing, we call it windbreakers. They squat there. So if the wind is coming, if it hit that place, it goes up. It doesn't go direct. It doesn't have impact on them. So both intensive or outdoor systems have some advantages and disadvantages. Yes.
Okay, so mentioning the intensive, with the extent, that is how animals usually are in the wild. The extensive system where they're able to feed themselves, they're able to provide their own house and hide in trees or wherever that they find conducive. And you practice the intensive system. Yeah. What's the rationale for this system?
Yeah, in the wild, they have their freedom and they select whatever they can eat. And you realize they are also, they are termed as destroyers. Yes, they destroy food crops because they are wasteful feeders too. So if they have their own chance and they happen to enter somebody's farm, so in a nutshell, they are also nuisance.
Okay, rodents.
Yes. So to answer your question, the intensive system gives us the opportunity to monitor them and to make an approach to rectify problems that they might develop. If they are in confinement, whatever you give them is what they eat. There is that distinction that the bush one is more palatable.
Yes.
It is quite true. But in the intensive system too, you avoid certain type of sicknesses that they are befallen with in the wild. Like I said, in the wild, they are the ones who cushions any epidemic coming from anywhere. And
such as
Ebola, Ebola, ulcer, and so forth and so on. And I said boldly that Noguchi Memorial was able to clinically infest Grasscutter with this virus, and it hosted it, which means that Grasscutter in the wild is capable of passing on zoonotic diseases to humans. So the intensive system ensures that you observe them and give them medication appropriately and bring them back to normal when they are found sick. Even if they are in the intensive system, what we learn about them from those who started studying them, like Dr. Sibe, them, the Wildlife and Game Institute, they have come out with best practice that we were following, and we realized that those practices and hazard controls that they taught us, they are working very well. They are working very well, because as I'm here, if I say I want to create natural environment for them now, I'm rather going to infest them with different type of bacteria and things, because I cannot give them totally natural environment within my context here. I'm going to make something artificial, and these rodents, they don't like chastela, that ant. As I'm creating natural environment for them, they will be invaded by, even there's one particular this thing, we call it shield. It's some type of mouse. It can destroy them. Whether they are big or not, it will chew from the tail. The whole big Grasscutter, it will kill it right now. You understand? So it's one of the serious predators to Grasscutter. You see. So the intensive system, I can recommend it, and I believe that whoever you meet as a Grasscutter farmer will recommend the intensive system to you, because of the advantages outweigh the outdoor system or the other systems like littering system and the rest. The intensive system gives us the opportunity to monitor them well, treat them whenever they are found getting sick or sick. And nutritionally, we make sure that we do our best to the food conversion ratio is encouraging. Because we are trying to breed them for consumption, for meat. So what goes in must be converted into meat, and that's what we ensure that we do. So that the weight, we weigh them at its various stages, we weigh them, and the type of feed and the cost of feed can be determined. That will give you a particular weight for your commercial viability. Yeah.
So speaking on or talking about commercial viability, what are some of the things or foods you feed them, and what are some of the supplements you give them to ensure that they reach their optimum weight for the market?
Yeah, they need, okay, basically the essential nutrients include water, carbohydrates, protein, vitamin, fat, mineral, etc. And those things are obtained from a variety of foods. We give them corn stalks, fresh corn, dry corn also soaked in salty water and wash well, give them. Sometimes we can drop apple cider vinegar inside. It gives them the aroma to eat. And even this coconut branch, we can chunk it like sugar cane and wash it well and give them. And we can even give them sugar cane. But sugar cane, when they are pregnant, we don't give them, because sometimes it can affect their fetus, or what they call it. Yes. Okay. So when they are pregnant, we avoid giving them sugar cane at all costs until after they deliver. And sometimes during delivery, we rather use glucose to give them. They have the veterinary glucose. we give them to get energy to be able to, you know. Yes.
Okay. So talking about the veterinary glucose and some of the supplements they are given, for instance, this is the poultry industry. When the chicks are hatched, there are some supplements they are given to ensure that they are resistant towards some illnesses and diseases. Is this the same for grasscutter industry? How often do you get access to the vets, and how relevant are they to the grasscutter industry?
Yeah, in the grasscutter industry, there is something we are taking cognizance of, which is organic approach. Too much of chemicals is what we are avoiding now. So as much as we can try, we are restricting to organic practices more necessary. We have some identified grasses, and then feed that we give. For example, instead of deworming with albendazole, is what we use for deworming. Now we got to know that we can use unripe pawpaw and the seed. That is one of the examples. So as much as we can try, there are some leaves that we just give them when we realize that they are not feeling well. We give them, they eat, and they will be good. Like you watch cats, they eat certain type of grasses, and if you study them, and the same type of grass, like sometimes they are just around. When we give to the grasscutter periodically, they are okay. But what sometimes is, if they are stressed, under stress, or you have transported it from one place to another, for it to come, we give them glucose, the vitamin D. We have vitamin C also. We give them that. And when we give them, they become cool. They are no more agitating. And sometimes if you introduce a female to the male, and the non-receptivity of the female causes the male to become aggressive to the extent of even killing the female.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So sometimes you need to watch that the woman is on oestrus before you pass her on to the male. That one, the receptivity is guaranteed. You understand?
Okay. And then does the association provide veterinary officers and extension officers that go to the farms of the various members to ensure that their breeds are well cared for and some diseases are spotted early before they spread to the other grasscutters?
At a certain level, it becomes not necessary for us to involve veterinary. But new entrants find it necessary to be inviting, because like I said, veterinary officers, unfortunately, do not specialize in grasscutter issues. The best they can do is import poultry medication or that of rabbit. Even if that of rabbit is a bit okay, they usually adopt the poultry medications. But if you have become an experienced grasscutter farmer, you by practice know how to go about that problem. By practice, you come to the realization that when anything happens, you know how to rectify it.
Okay, all right. And you mentioned the Wildlife Institute, Research Institute as one of your collaborators. Who are the other institutes you collaborate with?
Oh, the Wildlife and Game, their objective is to rescue, rehabilitate, and then train some aspects and give to the individual members of society who preserve them, and or release them to Wildlife and Game to be transported back to the wild. With the view that some of them are harmful, but from the infancy, if you are able to rescue and you train it, like how dolphins do, they will appreciate human nature as well, so they become friendly. Yes. So that NGO is Wildlife Conservation NGO, has just been registered, and we are trying to develop it. We are getting membership on board. I would like to introduce them to you as well, because quite recently a news item has captured similar intentions from some angles, and we were happy to hear that. So if we get NGOs coming into our fold, it will help us a lot. Yes, sir. Because when we're talking about conservation, what we are doing in the grasscutter aspect is one way of preservation or conservation. Because grasscutter is an endangered species, or they are also endangered species. When we domesticate and rear them, people will not go to the extent of hunting them, degrading the environment, causing bushfires because of grasscutter. The youth will not be drifting from the rural areas to the urban area to look for non-existent jobs. They will find it lucrative to domesticate and rear grasscutter. And for domestication level, we have passed there. But right now, the interest and the, what do you call it? The interest in coming on board is what matters. And I said, forming an association is the best way to forestall all the bottlenecks in grasscutter farming. Because as an individual, when you go to bank, they will not give you loan. But if you go to bank in the name of an association, they will give you. If you buy an input for this one grasscutter cage alone as an individual, it will cost you more than when we buy it as a group and come and share. You understand? So we get quantity discount, we get cash discount in buying things in bulk as an association. We try to solve our problems collectively. That's what we've been doing.
This is still AgroLink, where we've been discussing the role of the Michelle Camp Grasscutter Farmers Association in promoting the interests of grasscutter farmers in Ghana. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall move to the next stage of this discussion. So, Mr. Samaklo, you're welcome back from the break.
Okay.
What are some of the diseases that usually affect these animals, and what are some of the innovative ways you've used to ensure that they are treated even before they spread to other animals?
Okay. I mentioned coccidiosis. We treat those ones with antibiotic and then with some vitamins. When an animal falls sick, you diagnose the type of sickness. We record it, and we record whatever medicine that we have given and see the result, whether it is positive or negative. As a precedent, we record those ones too. But they have other things like agitation. Agitation occurs during transportation from one place to another. And agitation too can occur when strangers approach the place, or there is a noise, or there is a type of collar that is being introduced near their cage and they don't like it. They will jump up and down, and they can even wound themselves to death. And they will bruise a lot. Bruising too can occur when you give incompatible partner for mating.
Okay.
So bruising, we use tetracycline spray. It's like a violet injection, we call it. But that one is a spray. Yeah, we spray the bruise or the wound for them, and it quickly heals them. Now, worm infestation too is one of the serious ones that farmers don't take cognizance of, but periodically we must deworm them. And I was saying that we give them albendazole 2.5. We give them according to their weight.
Okay.
Yes, but because we are instituting this organic grasscutter farming gradually, we have come to realize that using pawpaw, unripe pawpaw with the seed inside, when we give them, it deworms them. So we program them in a year, we deworm them maybe 3 times. And we are sure that there is no worm which will weaken it gradually. And to detect that this grasscutter is sick, from your look or observation, is that their hair stand on edge. If you see the animal in the cage and you see that the hair is standing on edge, then you have to investigate. You have to even book the date of your observation, what you have really seen. Then after the investigation, you have to do diagnosis. Yes. Based upon your previous experience, you know that this animal, it is worms, or it is biological effect be? Yes. We have hazards, physical, biological, and chemical approaches, so that if you are sure on whatever it is, then appropriate measure is taken.
It's taken. Okay. So coming back to the association, who can join this association? Who are some of the members? Does it have to be people who are does the person have to be located in Michelle Camp? Can the person be located in Takadi? So who can join the association?
The association is open to all those within the environs and beyond, provided you have interest in grasscutter farming. We are up to create more interest into people. We want more people to join so that the industry will grow. Because if the more we are, we can form a pressure group. Because I was saying that in 2005, a lot of NGOs and government have come on board. They have helped a lot. Some were able to give 10 room cages plus 5 animals, and they monitor you. They monitor you to make sure that you are going according to best practice. They monitor you to marketing level. They will ensure that you don't fail. So that marketing level, as you start selling, then you pay. That I think it was reckoned as 200 Ghana cedis. Okay. They will ensure when you pay, other beneficiaries to come on board. You know, I started by training people, and I was using this place like a demonstration unit where students or people who are learning, they come here, and I use that place as practical place for them, you know. And that is what the government was doing during the youth employment time. Yes, because I have a lot of beneficiaries who were my students who took lessons from here, and they were giving that loan which they repaid by monitoring them to sources. There's a way they do that. They brought in on board NBSS or something we call it. Yes, they were also here to lecture, and they also played their part in the loan administration. You understand? So those are some of the things that we did to encourage the youth. Rural urban drift, degradation of the biodiversity, bushfires, and so forth and so on. Because initially, we were responding to government initiative of domesticating and rearing to forestall those kind of pitfalls that I told you, like bushfires. The degradation of the environment. You know, the biodiversity is wide, and a lot of things are there. Some are dear to our health, some are dear to our existence, so that if we don't take care by allowing things to go on their own or by human activity without regulation, yes. So in a nutshell, we who are rearing grasscutter, we are also conservationists. We are contributing to the natural renewability of the biodiversity. You understand? Okay. We wanted to be recognized as such. And if we are truly recognized like that, then government will now, and NGOs like can know our value. You understand? And they will know that our objectives are worthwhile. That is what we are about. When we bring more people on board, we are in numbers, and what we are doing will become more significant. Yeah.
Yes. Than when you do it individually.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So talking about more members, how does the association sustain itself?
Yeah, we contribute monthly dues. I think that was 5 cedis, or 5 cedis.
A month.
A month. Each and every member contributes 5 cedis. Yes, and then whenever, periodically, these are our cages. They are metal ones that we adopted. But when it gets to a point, they need to be refurbished, because the urine of these animals are very acidic. So when it comes to that point, you see those ones there, because I'm now left alone, there is no active association, I cannot repair them. If you call the welder self, he is not interested to come and repair damaged cage. You want to do new one. You understand? But if maybe among the association we have about 10 people having such a program, will give us a contract to a welder, he knows he will get something from inside. So definitely they will come to your aid. But as an individual, they will be piling up here. One day they are sell to scrap people, and then I'm at a loss. Sometimes you make a cage, it doesn't reach even 2 years, 3 years, then such things start. You understand?
Okay, and the dues that they were paying 5 cedis, was it able to sustain? Was it what was the long-term plan? How was the plan going to be?
Okay, our strategy was to use that because at a time that we would like to buy certain inputs, we want to buy them on average. So when the need arises individually, we collate the individual needs on an aggregate level. Then when that one happens, then we go in our coffers. Then we use that money to go and buy. We don't ask, at that time maybe the individual hasn't got the money. So if there is any cost savings in our approach of purchase, that one we use it to sustain the association again. That's what we do. Yeah, it helps us a lot because even it can increase. Assuming we save about 500 cedis, it goes to benefit members, and then maybe 100 cedis goes to top our money. So we find a way of increasing that money.
With time.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And with all agricultural productions, there's no waste. Where one production ends is the beginning phase for another.
Yes, right.
So when you take the fur, when you take sometimes even the skin can start another production phase. Okay, so what are some of the recycling avenues involved in grasscutter production? It can also serve as an employment avenue for someone who might not be directly
along the value chain.
Yes, exactly, the value chain.
Okay. Let me start from their waste.
Okay.
Their waste can be transformed into fertilizer. Yes. It can be processed into fertilizer. And their urine also can be transformed. Both rabbit and this one.
Okay.
Their urine. With the exception that they don't urinate like the rabbit. But if you can trap their urine, you can use that one as a fertilizer. So the waste is also very economically viable. That is their waste. The animal itself, the hair, I learned it's being used for local concoctions. Yes. And that's for skin diseases and so forth and so on. I have not practiced it, but people talk about even the pancreas being used as for insulin for diabetic patients. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It has medicinal values and nutritional values as far as I got to know. Yeah. Yes. Assuming I have pimples and things, the hair, if well burnt and grind with ginger well into powder, and I started using it, my face becomes smooth.
Oh, so beauty tips.
Yes.
Okay, so what should we expect from this association in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, we want to see, with the assistance that we are envisaging, we want to create a value chain along which people can also invest, like processing, packaging, preservation, and storage and redistribution.
Okay. Because
marketing as at now is seasonal. It's seasonal in the sense that not until Christmas or somebody is extremely happy because of 1 or 2 fortunes, then he wants it today I want to chop Grasscutter. But apart from that, the breeding stock is what we are basing on now. Okay. If somebody show interest, they want to come into the business, he need a breeding stock, then that person will come. So that is what is sustaining us. The marketing for breeding stock is what is sustaining us. But for consumption stock, it is becoming difficult for people to buy. And that has given chance to people, that has given chance to even some of the members to discriminate in price with the view of capturing the market. So the market, the ruling market price is there, you see, but somebody may decide to lower his price just to clear his stock. Economically, if we are an association, we want to throw that guy out of the business, we as an association can sacrifice a huge profit and reduce more than that person.
And then,
and push him out crap from the business. Until we sell our thousands, he will not sell his 50 that he is boasting of. You get my point?
Yes, I get
So the strength of an association there is exposed. You see, if you're in an association and you get somebody who just get Like how I went to that hotel. I'm having 3.
Yeah.
You see, somebody can come and reduce the price, and then that my 3, I'll keep it more than 3 years. Nobody will buy. You see.
Yes.
So if you are in association, you have a strength. We have the strength that if somebody want to jeopardize the market, but people take advantage of the price discrimination. They buy, and then they buy and then put it in cold stores.
Okay.
Have you heard of Jifanco in Medina?
Yeah, Japan.
Yeah, Jifanco. I attended some business plan competition at Commercial Bank Hall with them, and we share our plans together. Before I realized, the man is selling Grasscutter, he's selling rabbit. Now he has made his own farms. He's rearing, you see. So that is where things come if you are grouped well. Because in West Africa, income is very low. Yeah. So anything that you want to do, you have to consolidate your strength before you can accomplish your objective. So I stand for associations. Associations. When you are associated, you have strength. Okay. You have strength to surmount all challenges and bottlenecks in the industry. No matter what, marketing, we can go ahead. Buying our inputs, we can survive. You see, trying to innovate, create new models, we can do. But as an individual or some few people, you will be limited by all means. Alongside, you can start well, but somewhere along the line, it will be difficult. Look at loan, acquisition of loan. You can't go to the bar of a Grasscutter farmer, then they give you. No, it's are you in an association? Yes. So associations, we want people to come to our aid. If we have people who can boldly stand, we have our abattoir, we have our own cold storage, and we pay for a facility that we can even pay for. You can see that our production will become, our inputs, you should give it to us, and collectively we can do something. Okay. If it is a loan that we collect, collectively we can pay. Yes,
that is true. Okay, so currently in Africa, there are high rates of graduate unemployment in the various countries. Yes. A lot of people are looking for jobs, white-collar jobs, and they are not available. There are actually a lot of AgroLink students who finish school and don't venture into the industry. They venture into other industries hoping that they will make more income. And what are some of the words you have for such people, or even people who want to transition from their jobs into agriculture, especially Grasscutter?
Very good. It is encouraging now. I'm happy to note that some graduates have taken the initiative as you are talking about. I've seen some of them on the YouTube. They venture into rabbit, they venture into Grasscutter, and then these small-scale businesses. You see, at the point we reach now, we shouldn't expect government to be the chief employer. And education itself is not supposed to be acquired and held in quarantine for government to come and utilize. You understand? Education, if acquired, must be put into practice. Yes. But like I said, capital or cash is what we are limited with. So those ones coming now, what I have for them, if they get an employment, they should call it temporary, so that they have to make a target. I want to go into this entrepreneurship. They create a model. Then you create a savings for yourself. If it is 3 years, if it is 6 years, you get out of the rat race quick and then employ yourself. You feel more comfortable because working for a company, an institution or government, whatever food that is placed on your table is determined by your employer. Some places the dress you wear is determined by your employer. The number of hours you sleep is determined by your employer. The few years I spent on this, what I had, if the time I came out of school now, I would have started this.
All agricultural practices or industries take time.
Yes.
Let's say when you venture into grasscutter farming,
That's
you don't just yield results in or profit in about
at least
2
2
months.
years. At least 2 years. So you have to provision.
Yes.
Yes, you have to provision.
So what advice do you have for people who seem to assume that agriculture is supposed to yield them results or even profits within the first 2 months or 3 months of production or practice? Because it takes time.
Oh, it will take time. And for those ones, you see, agriculture has a lot of value chain. You may not hold whole. You understand? You just falling along the value chain. I know people who come to buy, process, and sell, like I tell you Jipanko was doing before he started farming. People buy lettuce. They go to the hotels and they bid organized price and things. Then they come to the farms. Some self-giving some short loans to the farmers.
Yeah.
Some come and help them picking growth from the farms. And the moment it is ready now, they carry and they will do supply. You understand? Yes. There's something you call agri-economics. When you study a little bit of it, not too detailed, you can go and buy from the farmers and be supplying. The farmer will not have time to be going to supply. So by doing that, you can raise money and then also get a land.
And
start doing something. There are a lot of agri ventures which are very lucrative, depending upon the approach. Yes, people are doing coconut plantation, and the coconut now, it has got a lot of advantages. They are doing coconut milk now. They are doing a whole lot, even the fresh water, they are bottling it. You understand? So if you really want to make it in agri, just make your mind. And especially those who are coming out of the universities, they should not look up to government as a chief employer anymore. It is becoming extremely difficult for government to create jobs so quickly. Look, when they increase prices of goods and services, the private entrepreneur shifts it to the fixed income earner. You see that?
Definitely.
Yes, because your income will be increased after every 10 or 8 years. So when there is any price increase, petrol, trophy, they shift it to the fixed income earner. Private entrepreneur will not feel that pinch, because if I was selling this thing, manufacturing is selling it 10 cedis, then now I'll sell it 15 cedis.
15 cedis, and you still buy because you need it.
You still buy because you need to write.
Yeah.
See, these are some of the areas that I want to dwell on to advise the graduates. I know they are limited by capital, and so little effort, you know, to raise the capital is difficult. But once your parents are able to put you through the university here, at least something small should fetch money for you to make a little bit of savings, even if it's 1 year savings. Oh, egg, poultry farms, eggs, you go there and supply, create the market. You go to the restaurants who use egg and then tell them, I want to supply you this. You negotiate the price. You go to the farms and get quality ones and you supply. Grasscutter, come and buy from you, the farmers. Go and kill it, wash it nicely, degat it, and then spread it, roast it a little bit, package it nicely in some nice package, online delivery. You know, the people will buy. They will be there and then they call you. We want this, we want this. Sometimes I was even exporting grilled grasscutter. Some people place order and we send it to Ambience, straight, somebody's birthday, outside here. They want to chop it. Yes, we started exporting to China before the lockdown. Yes, and so the vision is there. We keep on changing the business model according to the economic climate. It's only we are limited by capital. That's why there is strength in associations.
This brings us to the end of this episode of AgroLink on AAU TV, which has focused on the role of the Michelle Camp Grasscutter Farmers Association in promoting the interests of grasscutter farmers in Ghana, with the help of the chairperson in the person of Mr. Justice Samaklo. Do stay with us on AAU TV for more educative content. My name is Nana Ismambasam. Till we meet again, stay safe.